standpoint of very large.
Yes, Judge.
Yeah, no, and you know, I understand, and that is
You realize that most people at that level, point four is death.
That's right.
Right? You're at a point four, you're dead. A normal person at point three.
A blood alcohol level of 0.4? That's not just drunk. That's near death. The judge isn't exaggerating here. Most people would be unconscious, maybe even dead. And yet, she was still standing, still driving. That's not just dangerous, it's terrifying. This isn't a mistake. It's a full-on crisis.
As Treadwell is in the jury box. There's a few things to address, Your Honor. There is a bond violation currently right now, and we of course want to address that. I believe it occurred on the 19th of January. Her being, I think, either 14 or 17 minutes late, went to the store to be able to get supplies and load up on all of the necessaries, as everyone felt they should. And of course, the stores are crowded. Traffic is everywhere. Prior to going to the store, my client took her 3-year-old daughter to her 70-year-old aunt's house. And the reason being is because, one, her daughter is special needs and she just does not do well in a social setting. And recognizing that it was just craziness, she had to take her there first. Lines are long, everything, you know. Once she leaves the store, it's apparent that, you know, she very well may not be able to make curfew, but she did have to go get her daughter.
It's easy to roll our eyes at a bond violation. But this wasn't just irresponsibility. It was a mother juggling a special needs daughter, chaos in a snowstorm, and the crushing weight of survival. This courtroom moment forces us to ask, when does a violation become more than a technicality? When it's the price of being human?
Ma'am, it's not the end of the world. I get it. But bond conditions are bond conditions, and you have 2 open DWIs, and you must understand that you and I are operating under strict compliance. I will give you a pass now. It's not going to happen again, though. Do you understand? Okay. All right, counsel.
The judge gives her a pass, but it comes with a chilling reminder this is her last pass. And there's something sad in that, isn't there? You can feel how fragile her chance is. One slip and it's gone. That's the reality of the justice system. It offers hope, but it rarely offers room for error.
Did also want to approach on the court's consideration, or more so reconsideration, of the recommendation for inpatient treatment. You know, we visited this previously.
Correct. And every time I deviate from said thing, we end up regretting it.
And
10 times over. So
you shared that with us last time. I do understand that. I at least do my client a little justice and at least giving some reasoning behind why we believe outpatient would be a little more appropriate. So the first thing is my client, she has been sober for 103 days. She has exercised diligently and staying committed to sobriety. While she has been released, she has been regularly attending AA meetings, meeting with substance abuse counselor who just had a home visit with her a few days ago. She has obtained her health insurance, which was previously lost due to the loss in employment, but now she can further recovery by taking advantage of the psychiatric care, therapy, and whatnot. And two, and this is really primary, the family circumstances. The circumstances of the family are the type that requires my client's presence at home. She is the primary caregiver of 2 daughters, ages 10 and 3. The 3-year-old, as we shared before, is a special needs child. And when she was in custody after the second offense, it was her parents who did take care of the children.
So luckily we have that going.
Well, yeah.
Have someone to watch the kids.
Yeah, and that was for just about 30 days or so. Definitely operated as a hardship as the parents. And of course, in these kind of situations, there's going to be sacrifices. Sacrifices has to be made by all parties. But we're talking about now 180 days, 6 times that amount, which, you know, again, I think it would be a tremendous hardship. And particularly with, I think a lot could be said about it, but particularly with the special needs child, what we do know about that demographic is they need routine. Routine is keen in their lives. If that is removed, it's, they could get discombobulated and it could operate as a crisis to them. So
Her lawyer paints a powerful picture. A woman clawing her way out of addiction, showing up for AA, holding her broken life together, and all while parenting 2 daughters, one with special needs. It's not just legal defense. It's a desperate plea for compassion. But sometimes, even the strongest argument isn't enough to move the system.
early on in this case, I had informed the court of my client, she is prescribed Adderall. And at the time of the offense, during the time of these offenses, her therapist had, they were adjusting her meds, even had her on an extremely high dose of Adderall. And, I don't want to portray myself as an expert in this at all, because I just found this information out. And that is that Adderall with alcohol, of course, that's a bad idea already. What it does on a molecular level, they're both fighting for enzymes, and the enzymes are what's extracting it, getting it out of the body. The effect is that they mask each other. And so someone that is drinking while on Adderall, they're not feeling the effects. They're drinking and drinking. Your body is not telling you, okay, hey, we're intoxicated. But all the while, of course, the blood alcohol levels are through the roof, even to a fatal.
This one hit hard, the science of Adderall masking alcohol's effects. She didn't feel drunk, but her blood alcohol was climbing to fatal levels. It's a haunting reminder. Addiction doesn't always look reckless. Sometimes it's just silent, invisible, and lethal.
How high are we talking?
Hi, Your Honor.
Standpoint of very low extension.
Yes, Judge.
Yeah, no, and I understand, and that is.
You realize that most people at that level, 0.4 is dead.
That's right.
Right? You're at a 0.4, you're dead. A normal person at 0.3, they'd be passed out 3 times over. Follow the recommendation, because that's why we have these people. They're clinicians, they're experts in what they do. They make the evaluation, they make the choices. I understand it will create a hardship, but sometimes that's what needs to happen to gain perspective and to gain knowledge. I understand your plight. I understand your position. Every time I deviate, you regret. She has a 0.3 and a 0.2. What was it? 2.8. A 0.28 and a 0.3 on 2 different DWIs.
That's correct, Your Honor.
I'm sorry.
Well, and again, I know that.
I understand. I'm never going to be
attributed
a lawyer for, zealously advocating, and I appreciate it. And sorry, it's too much. If it was a 0.4 or 0.14, but we have a 0.3 and then we have a 0.28. Really, it's too much. I don't know how you want to move forward, but I am sorry. I don't want to deviate from it.
And here's where it breaks. The judge, clearly torn, tries to stay firm. I'm sorry, he says, not as a formality, but because he means it. You can see the weight in his eyes. He knows this isn't just a sentence. It's a disruption to a fragile family system. But he still chooses structure over sympathy.
I can't pay for treatment on the outside. I'm telling you, I know that you have insurance. Insurance is only going to cover a portion. When you go to these outpatient treatment programs, they're thousands of dollars.
There is also the KEYS program and the Access program that,
She's a 0.31 and a 0.28, really. I wish I could make a different decision, but sometimes we have to make tough decisions as well, and I'm sorry, Ms. Treadwell, but I will give you as much time as you need to make arrangements, but I truly think that that's the best and appropriate course of action.
Your Honor, will we bid in 45 days? Because there's going to have to be some major movement that is done on her end to even try to get someone and make arrangements for
I will give it to you, but that's it.
I get it.
At the next setting, it's player trial. I'm not going to play this game. I will give you the 45 days, but everything needs to be done by that time.
45 days. That's what she gets. One final window to hold her life together. Not forever. Just long enough to make it someone else's problem. This isn't just courtroom strategy. This is survival. And survival under pressure. That's where the real story lives.